Hey, I'm Darknell, hope you all are doing well. In this video, I'll be talking about the best team comms for Rosaria. We'll be going over both Main DPS Rosaria teams and Burst Support Rosaria teams. So let's start with Main DPS Rosaria team comms. First team is Cryo Main DPS Rosaria. To enable this, having Chongyun is a necessity so that he can infuse her autos with Cryo. He also has a high damaging burst, which has a very low cost, which is really nice. The Hydro Applicator can be Xingqiu, who is the best Hydro Applicator for auto attack users and does a lot of off-field damage. Mona has worse Hydro Application but gives a damage amp and nuke on burst. Kokomi provides a lot of healing and has pretty good Hydro Application with her Jellyfish. The last slot can be a Flex, which can be Diona for shield and healing, Kaya as another sub DPS. Bennett can be used, but he will break freeze, so I would generally not recommend him on freeze teams. Use him only if you are either okay with breaking freeze for a bit, or you do not have any other options. Anime characters like Kazuha, Sucrose, Ventigi, and Sayu work as Viridescent Shredders as well. Second team is Physical Rosaria, which is actually popular among people because of the quote-unquote free spear that you get from a Dragon Spine quest, and also Crescent Pike is also really good. Mine isn't built, by the way. I'm not leveling her autos. The footage is just for showcase. For this, the second slot has to be Electro to proc Superconduct, which reduces enemy physical resistance. The best candidate is Fischl, who also does a lot of off-field damage. Beto works too, but you would have to run either high ER on her and sacrifice damage, or have to use Fischl with her at the same time to fuel her burst. Raiden works too, but is overkill as Rosaria doesn't really have energy issues like Eula. Especially with C4, the ER requirement goes down even more, so Raiden doesn't add much value here for the extended rotation, but if you want to or have no options, you can use her. The other two slots are a Flex. It can be either Zhongli for shredding all resistance, shield, damage on meatball, and petrification, or Diona for shielding and healing and being a battery. Bennett for healing and attack buff, and Sarah for attack buff, and C6 Electro crit damage for the second Electro slot. You can also use anime characters to VV Shred Electro for more damage for your Electro second slot, and for Rosaria's cryo damage. Now let's talk about Burst Support Rosaria team call. First team is the Rosaria Reverse Melt team. This consists of Rosaria, Xiangling, Bennett, and Chongyun. You use Bennett and Xiangling burst, then use Rosaria burst and Chongyun E, and then you basically just stay on Bennett and constantly apply pyro to the enemy, allowing Rosaria burst to melt, and use Chongyun burst whenever it's up, preferably when the enemy has pyro on them, to get some melts on that as well. This also gives some melts to Xiangling burst as well. This team is a very powerful team that a lot of people use to clear floor 12, as it's also made up entirely of all 4-star characters. The Chongyun on last slot can be replaced by Zhongli or Diona or an anime character with 4 Viridescent. Next team is the National team. She works really well as the 4th slot, making the team Rosaria, Bennett, Xiangling, and Xingqiu. In this team, Rosaria enables Vape-Melt for Xiangling, giving her a few melts here and there, increasing team damage. And she also provides crit rate to the entire team. As she requires very little time on field, she fits perfectly on the National team that's focused on quick swapping and using skills and bursts off cooldown. The next team is using Rosaria as a Vape-Melt support for pyro characters. Most notably Hu Tao, because she, being a spear user, does not shatter frozen enemies, enabling Vape-Melt very easily. Now I don't know about your Hu Tao, but mine misses so many goddamn crits at 70% crit rate that it's absolutely infuriating. So having Rosaria feeding crit rate into her helps her out a lot, even though she still misses crits. But yeah. Rosaria at 100% crit rate can transfer 15% crit rate to the team, which is the maximum that she can transfer, and 15% is a lot of crit rate, especially if you're one of those who run no crit rate Hu Tao with 20-30% without actually having C6. This 10-15% crit rate transfer, depending on your Rosaria's crit rate, will make a big difference. And if you want to make your Rosaria a crit feeder, there are weapons with crit rate second stat on basically all 3 rarities. There's White Tassel, which is a 3-star, Deathmatch, which is a 4-star, and the Jade Spear, which is a 5-star, which is also a standard banner spear, so people are more likely to have that spear. All of these 3 are really good for a crit feeder Rosaria. Another synergy that Hu Tao and Rosaria have is Hu Tao passive when her E ends gives crit rate to the entire party, which actually does work with Rosaria's passive, so you don't actually have to get 100% crit rate on Rosaria like mine. you can get away with lower, and Hu Tao will fill up the rest in second rotation and onwards. So those were some Rosaria team comms. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like. If you have any questions or corrections, you can leave them down below in the comments. And if you want to see more videos like this, a sub to the channel would be very much appreciated, as we are trying to hit 1,000 subs before the end of the year. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.